So you may know that a lot of people think that Arcane Odyssey's combat is bad, or maybe you are one of them. Well, in this video, I'm going to be analyzing the latest development update, which is a fight between Inferno and Doc the Warbird. A lot of people say that the combat hasn't changed from World of Magic, and if you have actually looked at the video here, that is entirely not true. The combat is completely different, whereas World of Magic was mostly just high jumps to pressing Q. Of course, that's very boring. Personally, I don't enjoy World of Magic's PvP because it really sucks. Of course, it was an early access game technically, or the combat didn't really have a chance there. So yeah, we won't stay on World of Magic's PvP, we'll completely ignore it. World of Magic doesn't matter. And I've seen a lot of people not like the combat because it's apparently too spammy and I guess too large AoEs. And yeah, you can see the AoEs here are very large, mainly because Doc is using a attack size build, and AoEs get a lot larger after awakening, especially if you're like a warrior build, and attack size is a pretty good stat that you might want in your build. But no, it is in fact not spam like some other games. Maybe Blocks, Fruits, and Elemental Backgrounds are definitely spam games. You definitely spam quite a lot, as right here, as you can see, it's very spammy. But Arcane Odyssey is, if you really compare these three footages, they're very different. Arcane Odyssey, of course, the style of the visuals are different first of all, but you can see it has the most mobility out of all the games. You can see how the players in Arcane Odyssey in combat, they dodge a lot, and a lot of the skills are also mobility and movement based skills, such as this one being Crash. It is a leap forward into an explosion, and there's also Rushdown, which is a leap forward into a grab move. Most grab moves actually do make you go forward, except for like Magic's grab, which is a snare. It's called snare. It's an AoE grab. It's also going to be nerfed because, yeah, many damage in a big AoE. You can like two-shot people with it if you have a lot of power, so you know, you might need a little bit of a nerf there. Anyways, so yeah, the PvP is quite different from many other games. You would need to aim, just like how in World of Magic, where you can aim and predict. If you see a lot of really good PvP clips here, this one's I think from Suncry, which is like, if you know about them, you know what I'm talking about. They can predict your high jump, they can hit you mid high jump, they can hit you when you land after a high jump, they can predict your blocks, they can predict your everything, and there's a lot of prediction going on. Like, okay, so that first of all makes World of Magic kind of annoying because you only have basically one ability that you can use, the blast, and it can get annoying sometimes. But in Arcane Odyssey, there is predicting. As you can see here, Inferno has told me that Flash Strike, Sword Draw Flash Strike, which is like this big AoE katana move, he said it was mainly for getting away while dealing damage, because Sword Draw Flash Strike, it teleports you and also deals damage in a very large AoE. Whenever someone's going to grab you, grip 'em lads, whenever someone's going to like rush in, like for example Crash, Rush Down, any grab move from weapons, or like dashing towards you in general, you can use Sword Draw Flash Strike to get away and deal damage because it's big AoE. So there's strategy, it's not all spam. Strategy to the weapons you choose, strategy to which spells you use, which techniques you use. Technically, there's no true combos, there's no stuns, of course, so you can't like 5-hit insta-kill combo like you can in Deep Woken. Oh no, no combo, no insta-kill combo, bad game, bad game. Go jump in the ditch, you know. We're not about insta-killing here because Arcane Odyssey is a mainly storyline-based game, so you're meant to have fun and not just PvP. Because of course, if the NPCs just one-shot combo you, that's no fun. So you want enjoyment in PvP and PvE, which is why Arcane Odyssey styled this way. With movement and large AoEs, worse players that are like at PvP and whatnot, yeah, they can have fun too, because if they put just a tad more in agility stat, they can be zooming around the map and the other player would have a hard time catching up to them, I'm saying. So there's really like, there's many different styles of combat in Arcane Odyssey. And if you're up against someone who's spamming attack, well, obviously they can be overconquered easily, or overpowered easily if you just block, parry, dodge, mostly the parry part. because big AoE, you can try and predict a lot of their moves. Oh yeah, they're going to use a self-explosion here when they're halfway across the map just because they can hit us. So you block and reduce a lot of the damage. And if someone has a ton of agility and they're zooming across the map, well then you just don't move around. They'll have to come to you. If they have a lot of power, put more agility, run around, make it so that they can attack you. If they have too much defense, find some other strategy. Very much opposing conflicts, different types of stat builds, fighting styles, rush down, you can see you move around a lot. Weapons, everything. Depending on which weapon you choose, you can be rush down, you can be zone, you can be AoE spam, mages, zone, AoE, both of them, long range, you know, everything. There is so much variety in Arcane Odyssey. That's what makes the PvP good. That's what makes it unique and better than most other games, because of the amount of different things that you can do. If you don't like one, you can change to another. If you don't like that one, you can change to another one. If your opponent's too strong, just change your build to one that can attack, that can oppose theirs. That's all I've got to say for the PvP section. And hopefully you might have gone to think that, oh yeah, Arcane Odyssey's PvP isn't actually bad, unlike I previously thought. Unless, of course, you're a hater, in which you will always just force yourself to think that Arcane Odyssey is bad and come up with another random excuse such as, oh my god, Arcane Odyssey has 2D textures. The textures are 2D, it's a bad game. But if you're like that, just go not play Arcane Odyssey. We don't really want to see your type anyways. Alright. Now, I've explained what I need to explain, so I'm just going to analyze this section here and explain a bit of the, I guess, the tools they use, yeah. So, as you can see here, seawater energy, that is what Sailor's Fist uses. And you can see here that it's using stamina, but that doesn't happen anymore. Recently, there was just a change that makes it so that every single ability, weapon, fighting styles, and magics, you always just use the energy bar. So you don't have to worry about managing your stamina anymore. That's just for dodging and high jumping. And yeah, sprinting doesn't take stamina either. And yes, there is shift lock. In case you are wondering, there is shift lock. It is binded to the alt key. Seawater energy here slowly decreases whenever you use a move. So whenever you use a move, it decreases, and to get it back up, you can just hop in the water, or as Doc does in the middle of the fight, you can just drink a bit of seawater, and this does make you lose 20 hunger, so make sure you don't like chug them all or you'll die of starvation, which is a thing in Arcane Odyssey. Yes, that's Sailor Fist's funny little thing. And Inferno's using weapons here. He's using the rapier, a katana, and a staff. So the staff, the reason why it's green is because he's using the Green Wish Cultist staff. I think that's what it's called. And that's all, it's all green attack. After weapon aura, they're even more green. And the Komodo Kai saber, which is the katana he's using, is a boss drop. I don't think it has any unique skills, or I don't think it will ever have any unique skills either, because it's only an uncommon weapon. Of course, don't take that guaranteed, like, I'm guaranteed to be wrong with something in here, but after weapon hour, you can see that it turns red, and this was leaked. Inferno did also post a thumbnail for Arcane Odyssey, at least that's what he said it was. And the last one is the Komodo Kai saber on a warrior build, and you can see it's red, and that's what happens when you get weapon aura. It's something that you get from an awakening, and I'll explain those right after I go over the other stuff that I do. Doc has lightning visuals, and that is not part of Sailor Fist. I've seen a few people that question if it's part of the visuals or if it's part of the awakenings. Awakenings in this clip haven't been made yet, so it's definitely not part of awakenings. And also, it's not part of Sailor's Fist because, yeah, Sailor's Fist doesn't have anything to do with lightning. But that's just because Doc has a lightning base magic, and you don't see it in the hotbar because he's hidden it in his backpack, which you can do by pressing the tilde button and just dragging and dropping it in. Now, talking about stat builds and awakenings. So, what stat builds are. I'm gonna assume a few of you made it to this point in the video. Probably watch this to know about some of the combat. You know, a lot of people there are PvP. So stat builds. There is 11 stat builds, I think. It depends on your stats that you get from leveling up. So whenever you level up, you get 2 stat points, and these are different from the armor stat points, which increases their respective stats, such as power increasing your damage, defense increasing your health, agility increasing your run speed, dash length, high jump height, and stuff. But leveling stats is, there's only 4 of them: vitality, magic, weapons, and strength. So these 4 do not affect damage except for vitality. If you are a vitality hybrid build, you lose out on a bit of damage, of course, because vitality gives you like a ton more health, so so less damage, more HP, and also spirit weapons, which take your HP in order to be casted. So vitality's got a little unique factor there. But every single other stat, so magic, weapons, and strength, aka fighting style stat, these do not affect your damage. So like if you have, for example, 50% of your stats in magic and 50% of your stats in weapons, they will do the same damage as someone who has 100% of stats in magic. And this is because, as I stated in a previous video, these stat points are meant for skill unlocking and not damage. Skill unlocking as in, because each skill, weapons and fighting styles and magic skills and whatever, they're all requiring stat points, and if you have less of a specific stat point, then you unlock the skills much later. That's what the skills are, and that's clearing up some misconceptions. They don't affect damage except for vitality, because vitality is special, so you don't have to worry about damage when you're picking your stat points. Also, another change that was recently added, if you have any excess points, for example 60% or 90% of your stats in magic, which would make you a mage, right? If you go check the stat builds card on the Trello, you can see all of the stat requirements for them. But if you have any excess stats, such as if you have 90% of stat points in magic but only 10% of stat points in weapons, for example, if you want to use like the first weapon skill or weapons M1s, on awakening, those would be removed and given back to you upon awakening, so you can put them into magic. And you are also blocked from putting any stat points into other builds that aren't relevant to your current build. So like, for example, if you are full mage, you can't put any stat points into weapons or strength, but you can put into vitality, because I've said before, vitality is special. And yeah, don't worry about this, because you get stat resets, and these are free. They don't cost Robux, unlike every single other game with stat resets. They don't cost Robux because, okay, well, they won't be on release either, but they will be the first update after release, along with potions and the Dark Sea, and maybe a few other stuff. But the first major update will bring you stat reset potions, so when you want to reset your stats, just drink one. They are made from probably ingredients from the Dark Sea, so hard to get, very rare as well, because of course it's a stat reset potion, like those are important. It resets your stats and your awakening, so you won't be stuck to like a mage awakening. So like if you reset your stats and then put all of your stats into like conjurer build, which is half weapons, half magic, then you get the conjurer awakenings instead of the magic awakening. That's about all you need to know about stat build. And awakenings, of course, you can go check it out on the Trello. Link is in the description. The Trello has a lot of stuff, so I recommend reading through that if you want to know a bit more about Arcane Odyssey. All I have to say for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a bit more about the combat, and hopefully you also change your opinion about Arcane Odyssey's combat, what I've said. I also do have a guild that I've made and a Discord server. If you want to join, the link is in the description. We're hoping to expand it and make it more active. It's not just for the clan, it's for my entire YouTube channel's Discord server, so just be sure to go check that out. And if you want to stay, come join us. Yeah, I'll see you in like another month, I guess.